Good afternoon and many thanks for making time. This is KTN Newsdesk. My name is Bonnie Tunya and this is where news is brought to you as it happens. We'll start this bulletin with matters of banning rallies and resigning on those decisions. And the Court Coalition now says it has been allowed to go ahead with the Saturday Uhuru Park rally just hours after Inspector General of Police banned all political rallies indefinitely. Court leaders, among them Senate Majority Leader Moses Wetangula, Siaya Senator James Orengo, Homa Bay Women Representative Gladys Wanga, GEM MP Jacomi Diwa and former Deputy Speaker Farah Malim met the Inspector General of Police early this morning. The court leaders say Kimayo promised to avail adequate security for the Uhuru Park rally to welcome back the country court leader Raila Odinga, who has been on a tour of the United States. The Inspector General of Police, David Kimaya, is yet to officially lift the ban on political rallies, which was announced last evening.
The good news is that we have agreed with the Inspector General and his security team that our event will go on, and we are now going to prepare for the event and invite all Kenyans of goodwill, embracing peace, and ready to listen to their leadership to be available at Uhuru Park on Saturday, where all CORD leadership will be assembled to address Kenyans on various issues, but more importantly, to welcome back our brother and leader, Raila Odinga.
In any case, the IG also has promised to make available all the necessary security apparatus to make sure that the leadership of CORD, as well as the citizens who are going to come for this rally, are safe and protected by the state. And then that is also one thing that he has undertaken and assigned officers to do that in the most elaborate fashion and to make sure that this event takes place without any hitches.
Embattled Kericho Governor Paul Chepkwony has appeared before a special Senate committee investigating allegations of abuse of office leveled against him. Now, Chepkwony maintains his innocence after his county assembly impeached him on grounds of gross violation of the Constitution, the Public Finance Management Act and the Public Procurement and Disposal Act. Members of the Kericho County Assembly are also expected to appear before the 10-member committee. The committee is expected to prepare a report and hand it over to the Senate for decision on impeachment.
The essence of oversight in devolution is very central. Because, Mr. Chairman, when there is no oversight mechanism, resources will not be used for the intended purposes, and the dream of devolution will be defeated. So the County Assembly was seized of this matter. Evidence, Mr. Chairman, was tabled before the Assembly touching on how county resources were committed by the very hand of the governor, who is a CEO. And the evidence bore out one very critical element, that it was not in line with the requirements of the law.
You will be told that this was a malicious, or this is a malicious process. Those are the wrong questions. Let the governor explain and give responses specifically to the questions that have been raised in these charges. And at the end of this thing, at the end of this committee, it will be clear beyond peradventure that the County Assembly acted dutifully, it acted in the right manner, it followed the law, and it has presented a clear case of a governor who should not be sitting and discharging the office of governor.
The National Taxpayers Association of Kenya chairman is calling upon the Cabinet Secretary for Education, Jacob Kaimenyi, to ensure that all school-going children get enough facility and equipment that will sustain them in schools. Speaking during the launch of the school report cards earlier today, the chairman called upon the ministry to ensure that the free laptop per child project does not flop. Kaimenyi, on his part, insisted that the delay on the project should not be interpreted as failure. The CS says that free primary and secondary education will continue uninterrupted.
The next 3 years, we want to make education at primary school level and this secondary school level free. Free. Some of you don't believe that. It's going to be free. So that the examination fees will no longer bother parents.
How do we retain the 1 million kids in school and make them go to transition to secondary school? That's a bigger challenge that you have, Banas. Yes. We need to work together to see how we can solve the problem of child labor, which is increasing. The drop-up of children in the girls in Kisumu and Nyanza is a worrying trend. Where will the girls go if we have no person taking on to secondary school? So we need to begin fixing those issues quickly as we move forward.
Well, let's come back closer to the city, and police in Kitengela have arrested 25 aliens of Ethiopian origin who are found hiding in areas near Valley Estate. The police were acting on a tip-off from members of the public who ambushed the house at 2 a.m. this morning and arrested the aliens who believed to have entered the country recently. A woman who is said to be involved in the aliens' entry into the country was also arrested after it emerged that she has been charging the aliens a fee to stay in her house. Speaking to KTN, Isinya OCPD Edward Wafula confirmed the incident, saying police have been on high alert after it emerged that many illegal immigrants seek refuge in the area. The suspects will be arraigned in the Mavoko Law Court later on today. The incident comes barely 2 weeks after another 12 illegal immigrants were nabbed.
And the lady, although is Ethiopian married in Kenya, legally married in Kenya, we want to take her house to court to be charged with harboring aliens.
An application integrated inbuilt music player that helps keep away mosquitoes scooped the top prize in the Safaricom Women in Technology Apps Challenge. Now, the application was developed by students from the Jomo Kenyatta International University of Agriculture and Technology and was dubbed as the Quiet Mosquito. The contest, which kicked off 3 months ago, was exclusive to female students, and it attracted a total of 30 participants. Now, this included 25 high school teams from Alliance Girls, Loreto Limuru and Maryhill, and 5 teams from the Jomo Kenyatta University of Agriculture and Technology. Now, each of the teams was required to come up with a problem that affects the society on a day-to-day basis and develop an application that solves it. The apps were categorized under health, security, transport, education, and gaming.
We're really proud of the effort that they've put in. We're really proud of the outcome that has been seen in terms of the initiatives. We had security applications, health applications, as well as those that even touch on just social issues such as alcohol blow and mosquito malaria, the issues around malaria in Kenya.
Today we take our county road trip to the county of Nyeri, where children who go through children's homes often acquire the most basic education and miss out on a chance to join institutions of higher learning. A children's home in Nyeri is attempting to change that and give the children who pass through them the best chance of making the most in life. Here's KTN's Karon Derry.
While many destitute children roam the streets desperate and hungry, a few get respite when they get absorbed in children's homes. And while this caters for some of their basic needs such as food, clothing and shelter, acquisition of basic education is not always possible for some, and it is here that vocational training comes in handy.
So we started with Ashanti, which is down there, but we thought we could do something else so that we would have a permanent building.
Sometimes we get that others are being abused by those who take care of them at home.
It is this need to provide some warmth to them and the realization of the plight of street children that jolted the parishioners of Riamukoro PCA parish in Nyeri into action. They then took orphans and vulnerable children under their wing and started the Tumaini Children's Home, a home that opened its doors 16 years ago. Situated in Misha, 3 kilometers from Nyeri town, the center has provided shelter to many children who would otherwise have ended up as street children had they not been rescued in time. A committee comprising of 12 members scouts for the needy children from all parts of Kenya, as poverty knows no tribal or religious affiliations.
Here we found that there are many children who needed help. We could go to town, Nyeri town, and you see them hanging around.
Nancy Kaigo, the manager of Tumaini Children's Home, says instilling virtues such as hard work and self-reliance is important for these children, and they are encouraged to cultivate the center's 12-acre farm and grow food that is used to supplement their diet at Tumaini.
I'd like these children to get used to working because this is a home, and you'd like them to live normally, just as any other children at home. So that's why we make them work. We train them how to grow different types of crops.
Those who miss a chance to pursue their education in institutions of higher learning now need not be left out in the cold, as once the vocational training center is complete, they will have a chance to learn various courses such as carpentry, tailoring and others.
Since there are many and who doesn't perform according to the standard of the colleges and the universities, we have started this building which will cost us, is a 4-story building which will cost us about 500 million to complete everything. But we are planning now to complete this ground part at least before the end of this year.
A fundraiser will be held on 31st August to raise the 500 million shillings needed to complete the construction of the vocational training center. Tumaini takes in children aged 6 to 18 years and provides education up to Form 4. So far, 300 children have passed through the center. Carol Derry for KTN in Nyeri County.
So, Kora has the much talked about rally at the weekend, but also Jubilee has a response to that. Jubilee Alliance has accused the Quad Coalition of planting seeds of discord in the country in the public rallies that they have been holding in different parts of Nairobi. Jubilee claims that Quad wants to ascend to power by hook or crook and alleged that the opposition is backed by Western influence to destabilize President Uhuru Kenyatta's administration.
I think they want to bring this government down by denying it businesses or tourism, and maybe and then you hear one of the court people said even American TV will be here. Doing what? And I think we have enough TV here. So yes, they're working with their masters. And now we have, thanks to President Uhuru, we have regained our foreign policy respect.
I urge Kenyans not to allow to be used by people who are only agitating to acquire power by rebellion. Kenyans should see what is happening in Syria. Kenyans should see what is happening in Egypt and Tunisia. It is the same formula that is being brought to us.
All right. Away from politics, we have more exciting news coming up after this break. I'll be talking to a gentleman called Moses Sitati, and he'll be telling me how mobile devices are helping curbing illiteracy in our society. Stay tuned. Welcome back. This is KTN Newsdesk. If you're seated on this side, you know we're having our afternoon business chat. And today we're talking matters technology and learning. And tech is always exciting here. Now, there's a lot of illiteracy in this country. Well, we're not so bad compared to the region, but there are countries that are worse. Now, there are few people who are trying to curb that using technology. And joining me today is a gentleman from Microsoft Mobile Devices. I'm talking about Moses Sitati, who is an evangelist for apps.
Yeah, that's right.
Right. Moses, there's an interesting study you have on how the use of apps is helping curb illiteracy, and not just for children but for adults. What's that about?
Yeah, so what you're talking about is a study called Reading in the Mobile Era.
Right.
It was a Nokia-supported study and done by UNESCO.
Okay.
So Nokia and UNESCO have a long-term history of partnership to advance education for all. And this particular study was looking at a particular app called World Reader Mobile,
okay.
which is an app that essentially brings books and other kinds of content and text to feature phones,
right.
And smartphones as well, to allow people to read on their mobile devices. So it doesn't have to be a smartphone. Even with a feature phone, as long as you have a feature phone with a data connection,
right.
You basically get access to a wide variety of books.
And you have a feature phone on your hand.
I do.
What kind of content can fit in that kind of phone? What format are we talking about?
So right now we're talking about, for this particular kind of phone, a Java application can run on this, and the books appear as text, basically.
Okay.
So this app is called Bainu, and can be accessed at the site. The mobile website is m.bainu.com.
Right.
Once you download that to your Android phone or to your feature phone, essentially allows you to get text page by page, or chapter by chapter, and read your books.
What kind of text? Who moderates this to ensure that whatever you're getting, because here we're trying to fight illiteracy, that whatever you're getting is at the level of the person who's using it?
Yeah. So the World Reader, is the whole purpose of existing is to provide books and through technology to the world's populations. So they actually approach publication houses to get officially published books to avail in the store.
So this is content that is moderated by, say, the ministry or whatever officials.
Or published publication houses as well.
Okay. Moses, there are lots of young people in the app development space. Is this a lucrative avenue they can jump in?
I'd say there are gaps. My advice to local developers would be to look at where the gaps are. So one of the aspects that came up in the study was women actually read quite a lot more than men. So on a monthly basis, women are reading about 207 minutes, while men were reading about 33 minutes.
Because they have a lot of time in their hands, right?
No. I think the content in there was also maybe catering more to women. Men we found would be interested in more in current affairs, education and career kind of content. So local developers should kind of, if they looked at this study, for example, should look at what are the gaps. Even content for kids as well was not there. One of the things that came up also was that about a third, there were 4,000 respondents in the study, and about a third of those read to their kids. They find books for kids and read to them, but another third was saying they couldn't get enough content for their kids.
Moses, is this a competition or a compliment to, say, President Uhuru's dream of putting a laptop in the hand of every child?
I'd say really, of course, that project has generated a lot of interest. But I think what I want to say is we can start with low-hanging fruit. One of the things we found out about why people are reading on mobile devices is because devices already exist in people's hands, and they don't have to be expensive devices, just a device with a data connection. And if you can get books onto those devices, if you can tell people that you can go to this particular resource and get all kinds of classic textbooks,
and not just going on Facebook.
Exactly, not only for Facebook. Then you can actually begin to practice your literacy. You can learn how to read and find out about jobs, education opportunities, and so on.
Finally, Moses, our time is up. But what's next for for Microsoft? What do you intend? How do you intend to take this? You have this very useful study that you have in your hands, but how is it going to help, and what plans do you have?
Of course, so for us, we want to get this message out there. So one of the things, of course, is going to be reaching out to the local developers to tell them we want more local content, our local authors as well. There's a demand for books in local language. We want to talk to the government about reducing cost of ownership of mobile devices. The VAT issue came up recently. And is that something we can look at that and say, is that something that is for or against availing access to mobile tech? We're looking at issues of access to technology for women.
So lots of opportunity.
There's quite a lot of opportunity that we can.
All right, and I hope there are people in charge of the education system are actually watching and listening to this. It is interesting, and I'm sure they can get you online.
Yes, for sure. At Mr. Sitati. On Twitter.
To have that conversation in case they want to learn more.
Correct.
All right, fantastic. We need to bring this conversation to an end at that particular point. Many thanks for dropping by the Newsdesk and illuminating us with this wisdom. Thank you so much.
Thanks so much, Bonnie.
Right, we shift gears very quickly and move to the sports now. Great, and his performance in the 4x200 meters Kenyan team was on everyone's lips as the team arrived from the inaugural world event in Nassau, that is in Bahamas, on Tuesday night. Now the team finished 5th in their race, a result unexpected for such a team considering the field that assembled there. Kenya finished 3rd overall with 35 points behind Jamaica and the United States of America.
After flying the Kenyan flag high at the just concluded World Relays Championships in Bahamas, the Kenyan team's arrival brought activities at the Jomo Kenyatta International Airport to a near halt. Kenyan athletes brought home 3 gold medals and a silver medal, and during Kenya's stellar performance. The medal harvest was achieved as Kenya broke 2 world records that ensured the country finished 3rd overall. Attention, however, continues to be on the 4x200 meters team's unexpected performance that saw them qualify for the finals in a national record time of 1 minute, 23.24 seconds, and eventually finished 5th in the final, improving the national record to 1 minute, 22.35 seconds. This also doubled up as an African record.
The training we had from our coaches, we knew that we were going to break the national record, but for breaking the African record, that was a big win for us.
We're going to take the sprinters where they belong, and that's what we did. Though it was a hard terrain, people ran. As a people, watu wanakimbia.
The 4x200 meters team has been termed by many as a new dawn for sprinters in the country, with Athletics Kenya on the spotlight.
We've given time and opportunity, still the 4x4 can still come back to where it used to be before.
Tuko na sprinters. Ni kasi, tuwafanyie kasi, ni ku-identify mapema, tuwaweke kambi, wakompete.
The conclusions of the World Relays Championships opens another chapter, the Commonwealth Games and Africa Athletics Championships national trials. The team that represented the country at the first World Relays in Bahamas may have brought home 2 world records and 3 gold medals. However, the 4x200 meters team remained the real champions. Lane Washura, KTN.